interesting facts about famous people.
Incredible Korean War movies. Hollywood has devoted massive resources to war movies, especially World War II and Vietnam, but has never really given the same treatment to the Korean conflict. A few movies legitimately deserve the attention of war movie fans and those who want to see fictional versions of events that happened during the events in Korea. If you enjoy this video, hit the notification button to get my videos. If you want to check out my many other videos, head over to my channel. The link is in the description. Let's get into it.
For some reason, my friend should not know that.
MacArthur, 1977. Gregory Peck took time off from his late career roles as a Nazi, Boys from Brazil, and father of the Antichrist, The Omen, playing General Douglas MacArthur in a movie that tracks his career from 1942 until President Harry Truman fires him during the Korean War. A few important points to note about MacArthur, which was rushed into production by Universal Pictures after the studio's massive 1976 success with Midway, mostly shot on the studio's backlot. There wasn't a huge investment in getting the details right. This movie inspires devotion from fans of the general and fans of the actor who plays him. The production quality of MacArthur may be lacking when compared to the 1970 Oscar winner Patton, but it at least tries to give MacArthur his due. At the start of filming, Gregory Peck disliked General Douglas MacArthur. After filming, he changed his mind, understanding the challenges MacArthur had faced. He also stated he believed President Harry S. Truman was wrong to relieve MacArthur of his command in Korea in April 1951.
They give you
The Bridges at Toko-Ri, 1954. Probably the biggest prestige picture to feature the Korean War, based on James Michener's 1953 novel. The movie follows a crew of Navy aviators assigned to bomb bridges in North Korea. William Holden stars as the World War II veteran called back into service. There's some appropriately soapy family romance with his wife, Nancy, played by Grace Kelly. There's heroism, sacrifice, and a good bit of rhetoric about heroism and sacrifice. Michener was a war correspondent who covered similar missions during the war, back in the day when reporters had access to the front lines. The US Navy enthusiastically supported the film and helped give the movie exceptional air battle footage. Paramount Pictures even shot in Japan to give the movie an appropriate look and feel. If this was a World War II movie, it'd be a lot more popular and you'd see it on a lot more best war movies lists. James Michener wrote the story after spending time aboard the USS Essex. One of the pilots aboard the Essex at the time was Neil Armstrong. It is not known for certain whether any of the characters in the book or movie were based on Armstrong.
All bridges down, all bridges down. Nice going, CAG.
CAG to flight. Rendezvous.
The Steel Helmet, 1951. Samuel Fuller's classic is a low-budget movie. It's also the first Hollywood movie made about the Korean War. Fuller finished off the script in a week and shot the movie in LA's Griffith Park with a cast of mostly unknowns. A POW survives the North Korean execution of his unit when a bullet glances off his helmet. He's rescued by a Korean boy and they join up with another patrol. Fuller confronts the racial attitudes of the era head-on and offers a grittier take on military life than he would have been allowed to offer on a studio picture with a bigger budget. In an early scene, Corporal Thompson identifies himself as World War II veteran of the 16th Infantry Regiment, 1st Division. That unit is the same one in which director Samuel Fuller served. The budget was so low that the Chinese tank that attacks the patrol is actually made of plywood.
I'll stop that stuff sprouting.
Pork Chop Hill, 1959. One of the last movies directed by Louis Milestone, who won an Oscar for directing the World War I classic and 1930 Best Picture, All Quiet on the Western Front. This Korean War movie isn't as good as that classic. It's a gritty battle tale that features an excellent performance from Gregory Peck. based on a book by military historian Brigadier General S.L.A. Marshall. The movie covers the first battle of Porkchop Hill between the US Army's 7th Infantry and the Chinese and North Korean armies. As all students of the war know, the Chinese didn't believe that American forces had the will to hold such a strategically insignificant position, and the fact that American forces were a big factor in the stalemate that eventually ended the conflict. The movie is notable for featuring a whole slew of future movie and television stars, including the recently deceased Air Force veteran Gavin MacLeod and Army veteran Clarence Williams III. You'll also see Robert Blake, Beretta, Norman Fell, Three's Company, George Peppard's The A-Team, Martin Landau, Mission Impossible, Harry Dean Stanton, Repo Man, Harry Guardino, Dirty Harry, and Woody Strode, Spartacus. It's a cavalcade of stars. Gregory Peck personally chose Lewis Milestone to direct because Milestone's All Quiet on the Western Front, 1930, had made a deep impression on him. Feature film debut of Martin Landau. The actual Battle of Porkchop Hill took place over 3 days and 2 nights. The movie took 50 days of shooting. Men in War, 1957. Robert Ryan and World War II Navy veteran Aldo Ray, two of the great tough guy character actors in movie history, play the leaders of a unit desperately trying to rejoin their division after they're cut off behind enemy lines. The story takes place over a single day in September 1950. The Army wanted nothing to do with this picture because it believed that the script portrayed soldiers without proper discipline, and everyone knows that something like that could not possibly exist, right? The movie is based on a novel about the World War II Normandy invasion, but producers updated the story to cover the more recent conflict. They deserve points for that. What might have been a forgotten, middle-of-the-pack World War II movie is now one of the highest-profile Korean war flicks. The colonel, played by Robert Keith, is the father of actor Brian Keith. Vic Morrow will go on to play the iconic US Army Sergeant, Sergeant Saunders, in the World War II action drama series Combat. The Hook, 1963. One overheated drama starring US Navy World War II veteran Kirk Douglas. Maybe the only actor who can convince an audience to follow him into the depths of internal torment this story is trying to sell. Douglas leads a unit of 8th Army soldiers who are aboard a merchant ship when they capture a downed North Korean pilot. Ordered to execute their prisoner, no one seems to have the guts to pull the trigger. While they're dithering, word comes through that the armistice has been signed and the prisoner escapes. If you've ever watched a war movie, you know this is not going to end well for someone. Douglas goes through a dark night of the soul before he's faced with a life or death choice. If Kirk Douglas seems more at ease when portraying a naval character, it's likely because he saw active duty in the US Navy during World War II. Feature film debut of Robert Walker Jr. War Hunt, 1962. Another movie made on a shoestring budget. War Hunt is notable for being the first starring role for Robert Redford, playing a private sent to the front lines in the closing days of the war, who finds himself serving alongside a soldier, John Saxon, Enter the Dragon, who infiltrates enemy lines at night to perform a weird killing ritual that has nothing to do with military objectives. The movie also features the great director Sidney Pollack in an acting role. This production is when Redford and Pollack first met. Pollack went on to direct Redford in This Property is Condemned, Jeremiah Johnson, The Way We Were, 3 Days of the Condor, The Electric Horseman, Out of Africa, and Havana. The movie also features Air Force veterans Tom Skerritt and Gavin MacLeod. 3 of the actors in the film later directed films that won the Academy Award for Best Picture. Francis Ford Coppola, Army truck driver, directed The Godfather 1972 and The Godfather Part 2 1974. Robert Redford, Private Roy Loomis, directed Ordinary People 1980, and Sidney Pollack, Sergeant Owen Van Horn, directed Out of Africa 1985. With the exception of Coppola, with respect to The Godfather 1972, The three men also won the Academy Award for Best Director for the relevant films. Shot in only 15 days for a budget of $250,000. Most of the film was shot at night to mask the budget limitations. MASH 1970, set in the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital in South Korea during 1951. MASH follows two new doctors as they adjust to the absurdity of the war around them. As anyone who lived through that era will tell you, the movie is based only loosely on the Korean War novel by Richard Hooker. Screenwriter Ring Lardner Jr. threw out most everything but the novel's concept and delivered a screenplay that was really a black comedy about the US fight in Vietnam. The setting in an earlier conflict somehow made it easier for the message to get through to a diverse audience. And Lardner won an Oscar for his work. MASH may have lost the Best Picture Oscar to Patton, but director Robert Altman's movie has arguably had more long-term influence on the culture. It spawned the most popular television comedy series of all time, and the movie's chaotic style influenced the comedy scene for the next generation. Is MASH a great movie comedy? Most definitely. Will you learn anything about the Korean War? Probably not. Thank you for your time today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate likes and subscribers. Hit the notification bell to get my new videos. Take a look at my channel. The link's in the description. Bye for now. See you again soon.
Interesting facts about famous people.